Real options are right, but not an obligation to make a business decision. The concept of a real option is crucial to the success of a business, as the ability to choose the right business opportunity bears a significant effect on the company's profitability and growth. A real option allows the management team to analyze and evaluate business opportunities and choose the right one. Next, the concept of real options is based on the concept of financial options. Thus, fundamental knowledge of financial options is crucial to understand real options. These models' main drawback is that it is difficult to estimate all the important factors that influence option value, such as expected cash flows from the underlying asset and changes in the cost of implementation. It allows the management team to analyze and evaluate business opportunities and choose the right one. Next is limitation of financial models. Financial models are used by corporations almost every day. These models help while making several key strategic decisions. This model is a way of generating information which should ideally be the part of any due diligence. However, financial modeling isn't perfect either. It is not the answer to all the problems being faced by the finance department of any company. Therefore, before using financial modeling, it is imperative that someone is aware of its pros and cons. So the advantages of financial modeling, some of the major advantages of using financial models are, number one, better understanding of the business. The process of model creation forces the business to think about and list down the drivers which impact the various aspects of the business. The processes also forces the business to think about the various changes in the external environment. Number two, helps decide on a funding strategy. When companies develop financial models, they are able to clearly understand what their cash flow situation will be. The cash flow requirements that the company would face, as well as the ability to borrow and make interest payments, can be easily ascertained. This helps the company choose an appropriate funding strategy. Number three, helps reach the correct valuation. Financial modeling allow companies to understand their true worth. Financial models make it possible to ascertain the exact amount of free cash flow that will accrue to the firm at different points in time. The process of financial modeling is riddled with disadvantages as well. Some of the important ones are, number one, it is time consuming. This is because creating a financial model is a project which requires several tasks to be done. The data to be collected, the underlying factors have to be identified, and the model needs to be tested for financial as well as technical irregularities. Number two, inaccurate. Nobody has the knowledge required to predict factors such as interest rates, tax rates, and market shares with utmost precision. Number three, soft factors not considered. Lastly, many mergers have failed because of soft factors such as difficulties integrating the culture of the two acquired companies. It is impossible to build such factors into financial models. Then, dimensions of project risk. Dimensions of project risk are the project size, project structure, and experience with technology. In project size, the risk increases with the magnitude of the project, as measured by the amount of money spent, the size of the implementation team, the amount of time allotted for implementation, and the number of organizational units impacted. Project structure, different projects require different levels of structure. Their specifications are unambiguous and basic, and making it simple to describe outputs and processes. Then experience with technology, it is possible that the project will encounter technical issues or take longer to finish due to the requirement to acquire new skills if the team is inexperienced with the hardware, software, application software, or management system suggested for the project. Change management. Change management is defined as the methods and manners in which a company describes and implements change within both its internal and external processes. Significant organizational change can be challenging. It often requires many levels of cooperation and may involve different entities within an organization. Developing a structured approach to change is critical to help ensure a beneficial transition while mitigating disruption. The concept of implementation. Implementation describes all organizational operations geared toward a new formation system's adoption, management, and routinization. The system analyst serves as a change agent during the implementation phase. It redefines the configurations, interactions, job functions, and power structures of diverse organizational groups in addition to creating technical solutions. He or she is in charge of ensuring that all parties embrace the changes brought about by a new system and is the driving force behind the entire change process. So the role of end users. Users have more opportunity to shape the system to fit their objectives and business requirements, and they have more control over the outcome. They are more likely to respond favorably to the finished system. It has historically been difficult to establish information systems because of the interaction between users and information systems experts. They are typically comes from either diverse backgrounds and have distinct priorities. Here, this shows the usual concerns of end users and technical professionals surrounding the construction of a new information system. So here po, yung user's concern is different with the designer concerns. So these are the usual concerns of the user. Number one, will the system provide us with the data we require for our work? Well, on the designer concerns, how much work will this system require of our servers? Second, can we information on our PCs, iPads, and iPhones? This is for the user concern. For the designer concerns, how much programming work will this need of our team? Third, for the user concerns, what additional processes are necessary data entry into the system? And the designer, where will the information be kept? Which method of storage is the most effective? Lastly, for the user concerns, what tools should we employ to protect the data? And for the designer concerns, how will employees' everyday routines change as a result of the system's operation? So magkaiba talaga sila ng overview ng concerns. Next, management support and commitment. It is more probable that users and the technical information services employees would see an information systems project favorably if it has the support and commitment of management at all levels. It guarantees that a system project will obtain enough cash and resources to be effective. It's also necessary for all organizational realignments, changes in habits and processes, and implementation of new systems. Next, format planning and control tools. This is effective for large projects. The two most used ways to record project plans are the Gantt chart and the PERT chart. So here is an example of a Gantt chart. The Gantt chart lists each project activities at the start and end dates. So you see meron po dito yung quarter 1 to 4. So for the annual po yan. It graphically displays the scheduling duration and required human resources for various tasks in a development project. Each task is shown by a horizontal bar whose length corresponds to the time needed to finish it. So meron dyan, as you can see yung quarter 1 to 2, may mga tasks na nag-overlap. So next po is example of a PERT chart. PERT charts or PERT stands for Program Evaluation and Review Technique. It's a US developed methodology that lists the various activities that make up a project as well as activities that must be finished before a certain activity may begin. So dito sa PERT chart, kung dun sa Gantt chart kasi may nag-overlap na task, dito sa PERT chart, after ng isa na matapos, pupunta na dun sa isang task ulit. So, matatapos muna isa bago yung isa. Next, designing for the organization. Information systems projects must specifically address the ways in which the organization will change when the new system is implemented, including the installation of intranets, extranets, and web applications. Second, modification in job duties, organizational structure, power dynamics, and the work environment should all be carefully prepared in addition to procedural changes. Lastly, Areas where people interact with the system need to be given extra care with an emphasis on ergonomics. The organizational dimensions that must be taken into consideration when developing and implementing information systems are listed here. So first, participation and involvement of employee, job planning, norms and performance evaluation, ergonomics, including equipment, user interface, and the work environment, processes for resolving employee complaints, safety and health, and adherence to government regulations. Next. The most popular project management tool available now is the Microsoft Office Project 2010. It can generate PERT and Gantt charts and provide critical path analysis, resource allocation, project tracking, and status reporting. It is PC-based, and project keeps track of how adjustments to one area of a project affect its other components. Together with Microsoft Office Project Server 2010, Project Professional 2010 offer tools for collaborative project management. Authorized user can access and edit project data through the internet. Software for project portfolio management assists managers in comparing proposals and projects with budgets and resource availability levels to identify the appropriate project mix and sequencing for achieving the organizational goals. So that's all for our report po. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Doc. I will